What up, my friends? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we have another shelf cooking roundup. I do shelf cooking challenges quite a bit, but usually I only do them like once a month. This time I'm doing a little bit differently because what I did was at the beginning of May, I restocked our fridges, freezers, and pantry by spending $1,000 at Costco. So now the mission is to try and stretch us as long as possible without having to refill again, and we're doing a great job. We are allowing ourselves once per week, or if we can stretch it 10 days if possible, we are going to a closer wholesale club like BJ's or Sam's Club and only spending between $100 and $125 just to get staples like milk, eggs, and fresh produce. So I'm gonna share with you some of the breakfast, lunch, and dinner options that I made using the items that are already in our house, getting as creative as possible and minimizing food waste as much as we can. I also share at the end of this video a little update on both my inside fridge and my pantry because that's mostly what I'm working through. So if you wanna take a look and see at the end of this what it looked like right before I refilled at Sam's Club. I had literally placed the Sam's Club curbside pickup right after filming those clips, so you guys will be able to see exactly what I was working with before I placed the order. If you happen to be new here, hi, how are you? How's the family? Thank you so much for clicking on that thumbnail and giving me a chance. I do a lot of meal inspiration on this channel, so if you're looking for creative recipe ideas to help you in your menu planning, please feel free to check out the rest of my channel, and if you enjoy the vibe while you're here, I would love it if you'd subscribe. Without further ado, let's dive into the recipes and then stick around so you can see the update on the fridge and pantry. All right, guys, first up, we have a really unique and easy lunch idea that I'm so excited to share. I think it sparked such a great idea for me, which is just to meal prep some baked potatoes for myself and then keep them in the fridge for a quick lunch. I can just split the potato open, add whatever toppings I'd like, and then throw it in the air fryer. You could do breakfast vibes, pizza vibes, taco vibes. On this day, I ended up wanting to clear out my fridge but still make it high protein. So it's gonna seem a little weird, but I swear it came out so good. So I just split open the baked potato and fluffed it up a little bit with a spoon. And then I spread some ricotta on it, added some Canadian bacon. I also added some pepperoni. Then I did some mozzarella and a tomato. I drizzled some avocado oil on it, seasoned it, and baked them in the air fryer for 7 minutes at 370 degrees. I made 2 of them. One is gonna be for John for a snack when he gets home because his lunch was not like super substantial today. The other is gonna be for my lunch. So I'm just gonna transfer that to a container for him. Let me just discuss this. It's gonna be so good. Like, look at that. She's a beaut plaque. Look at that cheese pull, oh my gosh. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, look at that dripping cheese. What I'm gonna do is get some asparagus and mushrooms in here. If you guys know me by now, you know I'm not dirtying another dish. So I'm just gonna throw some mushrooms in there. I'm gonna salt, pepper, and do a little of this seasoning blend. I always pronounce it wrong, but I think it's alio olio, but I always want to say aglio because there's a G. So you'll hear me say it both ways because I can't be stopped. I'm gonna do another layer of those mushrooms. These are gonna shrink quite a bit. And then I'm gonna top that with a generous handful of some green beans. Same seasoning vibes for this. And I'm gonna pop that in my air fryer. I'm gonna do 380 degrees for 5 minutes. I generally like the vegetables to still have a little bit of a snap, so that's what I'm gonna go with. All right, we got some green beans going down. I ended up doing 380 for 6 minutes total. Like I said, I like mine still to be kind of snappy. John likes them to be like mushy. So if he was partaking in this, I'd go kind of like a compromise in between. We got a bunch of those great mushrooms going down. Perfection. Now this part is completely optional, but we're gonna hit it with some of this balsamic glaze. This one is from Aldi, but I've also purchased it through Kroger and through Trader Joe's before. And I'm going all the way across on that. I love balsamic. And then this one, only recommend if you like spice, because this is even a lot for me, but we're gonna hit it with a little bit of this hot honey. It's like super, almost like a jam consistency because it's honey mixed with like a crunch oil. And it's just so good. Perfect. Let's see if I can be cool and kind of cut into this and show you guys. I'm so excited. All right, my friends, if you've been here before, you know one of my favorite things to make is crock-pot marinara sauce. And it's the perfect opportunity when you're trying to clear out stuff from pantry, fridge, freezer, and make sure you're minimizing food waste. I'm gonna dump in a can of tomato sauce, which I will rinse out with some water to add and not waste that. I've got a can of peeled tomatoes going in there. This is a 28-ounce can. The first can was 15 ounces. I've got a can of diced tomatoes. If you had like cherry tomatoes or sandwich tomatoes or something that you're trying to get rid of, this would be a great opportunity to do so. I'm also gonna go in with a 6-ounce can of some tomato paste. We like it to be a pretty concentrated marinara flavor. So if you don't, you might wanna go a little lighter with that tomato paste. I'm also gonna do a little bit of garlic in there, like 4 cloves, I'd say. I have a bag of shredded carrots that I need to use up. If you had baby carrots that are getting a little sus, as the kids would say, this would be a great opportunity. I've got some mushrooms going in. This is a new addition because we don't usually do that. I'm just gonna do a couple cups of it. John's not like the hugest mushroom fan, but these will cook down into the sauce so it won't be too disruptive for him. We're also gonna do a couple good handfuls of spinach. This is gonna wilt down significantly as well. And then last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some bell pepper and onion. I'm probably just gonna use half of each for this and save the other half for other cooking. And I am gonna save these scraps for myself from the onion and the bell pepper because I like to make chicken stock as well. Another great way to minimize food waste. A little bag here for the veggie scraps. Okay, so that half will go in there. It's all gonna get blended at the end, so I'm just roughly chopping. Okay, and then I'll just store these in this container for myself. So I'm just gonna slice the onion instead of dice it. Same with the bell pepper. Perfect. All right, now I'm just pouring in the cans that I rinsed with water, or I should say filled with water so I can get out all the extra tomato that was in there. Perfect, that actually fills it right up to the top. Now for the seasoning, I'm gonna do salt, pepper, a little red pepper flake, and some of this aglio olio seasoning blend from Trader Joe's, but you can just use an Italian blend. We will taste for seasoning at the end, but I definitely want it to have some seasoning now. And the hot tub is mighty full, so I'm just gonna stir carefully here. And as this cooks, the spinach is gonna wilt down, so I'll have an opportunity to stir a little bit better. I have this on low. You could put it on high to make the process go faster. Probably let this cook for like a good 6 to 7 hours. And we will add some sugar to balance out the tomato and everything after. But I just like kind of let it cook as it is because the carrots are gonna bring in some sweetness. And then just taste it once I'm at a place where I can stir it a little bit better because I don't want to overdo it on the sugar. And then we can taste for additional seasonings at that point. But you can kind of see this is honestly just dump whatever you want. Veggies, we're giving you the side eye from inside the fridge with some tomato products and you're good to go. So I will come back to stir this once it's wilted down a little bit and then we'll adjust seasonings as needed as we go. All right guys, so we got that all immersion blended. I skimmed that like foamy stuff off the top. I'm just gonna add a little bit of oregano. I'm also gonna add some sugar. I do about 2 tablespoons of sugar approximately. You'll just wanna taste this for your own preference. You can go up to like 1/4 a cup if you like it sweeter. You could also skip the sugar if you want to do no sugar or low sugar. Chef is going to taste it now. Tastes excellent. So I turned the heat off of my crock pot. I'm just going to let this cool down and then we will get it into containers. Okay, my friends, I'm really excited about this. We're going to be making pickle de gallo instead of pico de gallo. It's basically just like a salsa, but the vibe is pickle. So I'm gonna get everything diced up. We're gonna be using, I have like 4 pickles that I needed to use up in here. We're gonna use some of the juice of this. I have a leftover half of a tomato. I have 1 full tomato. I've got some dill, some lime, and then I also have some jalapeno. And then we'll just do like salt, pepper, and taste it and see if we need anything else. I'm definitely gonna seed the jalapeno. Go get that out of there. So we're just gonna mince this real small. My children were done with their nap at this point, so I didn't get a chance to close this all out, but I just combined all of those chopped elements plus some pickle juice in a medium bowl and mixed it together. I stored it in an airtight jar, and it was so good. I loved it just with tortilla chips, but I also put it on some tuna with cottage cheese for a quick high protein snack during the day. I will definitely be making it again. Speaking of snacks, I also put together a Snackle box for myself so I could clear out some items from the pantry. I love doing this because it's really nice to have a variety of snack options already set aside for myself. I just keep this whole thing in the fridge and I can grab a couple items from it depending on what type of snack mood I'm in. In this one, I did chocolate chips, pretzels, cucumbers, macadamia nuts, apple slices. For the apple slices, I soak those in ice cold water with a couple tablespoons of honey for about 10 minutes. It keeps them from browning for like 2 or 3 days. I also had chopped some beef sticks in half, some celery, and some figs. Between John and I, this provided snacks for a few days. I try to do a good mixture of like sweet and salty and crunchy. It just works out so nice to have this waiting for me in the fridge. Next up, we made a dish that I thought was just going to be a quick, decent weeknight meal. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. It really blew us both away. It's a creamy Creole pasta. Again, I was just working through what we had. I had that ricotta that was staring at me. It was a big one. So I was like, I got to start using this in things. So we ended up using it on some protein pasta. John just cooked that up per the instructions on the box. And he also set aside a 1/4 cup of the pasta water. And then in a large skillet, he heated up some oil over medium heat. He added some sliced andouille sausage and cooked that for a few minutes just until they started to brown up a little bit. Then he added in some onion and bell pepper, sauteed those for 5 or so minutes until they got softened. And then he stirred in some garlic and cooked that for another minute. Then he added some spinach to the party and cooked that for a couple minutes until it started to wilt down. He kicked the heat down to low at that point and added in the ricotta, the reserved pasta water, and some Creole seasoning. He mixed that all up and then stirred in the penne. We garnished this with some Parmesan cheese and served some green beans alongside it. I forgot to start filming when I had started putting these together, but I just made some breakfast wraps for us. And I recently discovered that I absolutely love breakfast wraps that have a hash brown on it. So I took some frozen hash browns that we had in the freezer, cooked those in the air fryer, and then on half of them I did some barbecue sauce I needed to get rid of, and the other half I did some taco sauce. Then I just put some shredded cheese on there. We also had some scrambled eggs that John had meal prepped for us that we needed to work through. So I put a little bit of the scrambled eggs on each of these, as well as some Canadian bacon. The tortillas themselves are on the smaller side, so I wasn't able to get it to be like an actual burrito where I could close it the full way. It ended up being like the top was open, so it's more like a breakfast wrap. We got these tightly wrapped in foil and then stuck them directly in the freezer because I didn't want those scrambled eggs to go bad. So we stuck them directly in the freezer, and then when we were ready in the morning, we just cooked them directly from frozen by putting them in our air fryer. What John usually does is he'll put them in the microwave for like 30 seconds to soften the tortilla, and then he sticks them in the air fryer to kind of get a little bit of a golden brown tan on them. And they turn out delicious every time. So these are definitely a favorite of ours. My friends, coming at you with another lunch idea. I have just been feeling very creative for lunch lately. Normally lunch, I kind of go pretty simple, but I'm getting a couple cloves of garlic in my pan. I'm also gonna grate a little bit of ginger. I've never been a big fan of ginger, but lately it's been growing on me. So I'm gonna grate like half a teaspoon in there. I also have some jalapeno, so I'm gonna put that in there. And I'm cooking that in a couple tablespoons of butter. I'm also gonna add a little bacon fat because I had some reserved in the fridge for myself. I have one of these mandolin things and I'm gonna shave some Brussels sprouts in there. And once I get like halfway, I'm taking that guard. Now I've also got some sliced onion I'm gonna put in there. Some sliced bell pepper and some mushrooms. Now while that is cooking a little bit, John had made me some salmon on Mother's Day and he made me an extra so I could have it with lunch. So I'm gonna go get this into the air fryer. I'm gonna do 370 degrees for like 6 minutes. I'm gonna get some salt and pepper in there. And then I'm gonna go get myself a couple of eggs. Okay, popping those eggs in there. I just scrambled them up, not very well. Let those cook a little bit. I'm gonna sprinkle some bacon crumbles right in because I want to, and it's my kitchen. If I had like actual bacon, I'd be doing that. But you could also do Canadian bacon, you could do some turkey, whatever protein you feel like. I'm gonna salt and pepper those eggs too. I got this organic rice cauliflower stir fry mix at Costco that we need to work through. So I am gonna be doing a packet of that. We're gonna let this cruise for a little while and cook a little bit. And then I have about a cup of leftover white rice that we had cooked that needs to get used up. So once this cooks a little bit, I'll incorporate that into it and then we'll add the sauces. All right, so let's stir this up a little. Looking good. Get that white rice in there. I love using one of the meat mashers to do fried rice because I feel like it gets the clumps of the rice so well. So what I'm gonna do now is get a little bit of sesame oil across that rice and I'm just gonna let it toast up a little bit and I will, I'll stir it in a couple minutes. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some shoyu. And then normally I would do hoisin sauce, but I had an open bottle of oyster sauce in the fridge that has been staring at me for quite some time. When I'm doing shelf cooking, I really try to work through those, and I just don't use oyster sauce enough. They're not the same, but they are similar. So you would use hoisin, or you don't even on it. A lot of people don't even use hoisin when they make fried rice, but I think it gives it something special. So now I'm just gonna combine all of our efforts, let this cook for a few minutes, and then we'll plate everything up. This is obviously a very generous serving, so this is gonna be for my lunch today, but it's probably gonna make me, I'd say 2 more lunches or dinners, maybe even 3, depending how hungry we are. So today I'll be serving this with salmon, but tomorrow I can just add some chicken on it or whatever protein I have on hand. All right, let's plate this up. So remember, this is like veggie packed. Has white rice in it, but also cauliflower rice. So I'm gonna go with 2 generous scoops of it. The rest I'm gonna get in this container and then we can feast on it as needed. Probably dip into this for lunch tomorrow and then John could have dinner if I have something else, or he can take the leftovers to work. And then I have that salmon that I air fried myself. Like I said, I like to use up sauces. I am obsessed with this dipping sauce from Bachon's, I think is how you say it. All of their sauces I've loved, but this one is really good. And so I'm just gonna drizzle that across everything, why not? It's so good. And then I'm gonna sprinkle a little of the everything but the bagel seasoning. Perfect, get that put away. And this is lunch today. All right, friends, we're going into the fridge because I thought it would be fun to kind of do an update on what's in the fridge and the pantry before I refill from Sam's Club. I don't know exactly how these videos are gonna work out, but you should have a separate Sam's Club haul video after this one to watch. But anyways, this is what we were working with before we started. You can see we got through the entire salad bar, so that needs to be replenished. Up top, not too much has changed. I've got cottage cheese and yogurt that's like almost used up. We're running low on some marinara sauce over here. This street corn dip, I keep just adding a little bit as we go. This was really good. I got this at Costco, so that's delicious. We've got, this is the kids' dinner already prepped. In the back, we have prepped pasta for us and them. Big thing of prepped sweet potatoes. I have some leftover fried rice as well as some turkey meatballs that John had prepped. Down here is kind of just like the dairy zone. So we have all of these like whipped creams, which is not normal for us, but we had just picked them up as like treats. And then I still have this coffee from when we went in the RV. We're actually going to be in the RV again next week. So I'm going to use this then probably. My produce slash juicing drawer is really low, so this will probably get cleared out the next time I do a juicing batch. Over here, not much has changed. We have all those things. Down here is looking real light. This is our like deli and cheese drawer. Definitely need to replenish on that. And then the main reason we always need to go somewhere once a week is to refill produce for the kids. I have only 2 oranges left. No bananas, no raspberries, no strawberries. So anyways, that's the status of the fridge right now. Let's go look at the pantry. All right, here we are in the pantry. We've made a little bit of a dent. We had some produce over here that we worked through. So I definitely want to do something with these potatoes up here. We had started working through some of the canned foods. I've been eating a lot of tuna during the week for lunches. This is all more snacks, so it doesn't really count. We started working a little bit more through the pastas. I definitely think I should do some type of a rice dish, and I have these Cheddar Bay biscuit mix. I found this the last time I showed you guys my pantry. It was hidden inside all of my baking stuff, so I want to do something with this, so stay tuned for that. We still have a taco kit should we need a fast dinner option. I also have these ones I still haven't touched, which was supposed to be a goal of mine. So I think my goal is going to be to do something with these and to do something with these. And then I also have this one. I had asked in a video that's going live pretty soon what you guys would make with this. So hopefully I have some good options from you guys. But anyways, that's everything in the pantry. We've just been working through a lot of the pasta mostly. It's definitely like a lot clearer in here than normal. Maybe I should make something with shells. Maybe something with the shells and black beans. What do you guys think? If you, before you see the video and see what I came up with, take a look-see around. What would you have made? Let me know. All right, you guys, thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. It means the absolute world to me. Hopefully you're walking away with a couple of recipe ideas from things that you already have in your house, because I feel like most of the things I have in my house are pretty standard, so you should be able to get some recipes out of it. We loved everything that you saw during this video, so hopefully there's something that jumps out at you, and always the recipes are included in the description box below, nice and easy to copy. I hope I delivered whatever you needed when you clicked on that thumbnail, and I hope you have a magical day. Bye!